What's going on, HPP fam? Welcome back to another episode. So this morning, as you can hear, we've got our Lincoln Town car up and running. John came in this weekend and slapped the trans in. This is the car that we were cutting the body of to put our 51 Chrysler Windsor on top of. So we wanted to get this thing in full running driving condition before we cut it all up. So we're gonna take this joker for a test drive here in a minute. We're gonna get back on our Torque Storm car that you guys just checked out last episode. John has started working on the fuel system, so we're gonna continue working on that. And then while we still got this nice cool weather this morning, we'll wrap up our Honda, make sure everything's good on that while she's on the dyno. And we'll carry on with our day and see what other stuff we end up with. Lewis has dropped off his F-150. We're not doing anything performance-wise to it, but it's about that time in Texas where it's going to start getting warm. So we need to pull that truck in and figure out where his AC leak is, get that fixed so my homeboy stays nice and cool. So let's get after it. So it's about a quart, maybe 2 quarts low on trans fluid, but let's see if this girl will move under her own power. Woo, look at that. Look at that. The time has come. We have Alfonso's car on the dyno, and I think we're ready to start making some power pulls. We've got the rise and rate fuel pressure regulator situated on it, and the blow-off valve vacuum line is ran and working. So really those are the last 2 things to get this thing ready. So he's on the dyno warming up. Let's grab the laptop, start making some power. Well guys, unfortunately we have to cut it short. We got an issue. So made that first pull, little partial pull there. As you can see, we're missing a rib on the belt, which means we've got an issue where it is taking a rib off. So maybe we got an alignment issue somewhere. Unfortunately, we're not super familiar with this flip drive setup, but there's no problems on the other 3 belts. So it's only the direct drive belt that is going to the supercharger. So unfortunately we're probably going to have to pull this thing out the dyno, get a new belt. You got to pull the blower to change the belt. So we will look into what's going on with the pulley alignment. So tuning on the vet has got to stop. I didn't film, but we did a little oil change, spark plug change on a Miata. You guys didn't want to see that. And John has been diligently working on installing the FC3 controller in the back here. As you can see, he is currently attaching the fuel pump lines to the controller. He has already ran the main power lines to the battery, to the fuse, inline fuse. So that part of the controller will at least be done. We still got to run our wiring for our hot switch and then run our main fuel lines. But forward progress is being made on our fuel system. So, as you guys just witnessed, I decided to go ahead and keep going until that belt decided it didn't want no more. And that's because our options are minimal. I had Alfonso here earlier. We were talking about different options to resolve our issue, and I think we've got one. We just got to get the part here. Try to save them as much money as possible. But, as you see, she's a little rowdy. And this is where we have ended up with a belt that only has, well, now only 3 ribs out of 6. So 50%. So when we're at 100%, I'm pretty confident this thing will make close to 700 wheel, which is what he wanted out of it. 650, 700 is what he wanted. Well, we made 650. So check that box. We are going to have to change a few other things. Obviously, we're probably going to convert this thing, get rid of the MAF, and go speed density. But for now, we need to get the balancer thing, or not the balancer, the belt situation fixed. We'll go from there. So as we bring another week to a close, let me show you guys what we've gotten taken care of. So our big old lifted 2-wheel drive DMC there. Yesterday I did not film, but in the afternoon, John, in his typical John fashion, was able to wax out the motor, and it is already crated back up. And we have the new motor here, getting all the accessories put on it. Oh, anyways, as you guys can see, John is wearing one of our shirts. He's got the old build break repeat on. You can get yours at highpsiperformance.com.
Unfortunately, mine's pink.
You look good in pink. It's purpley pink. I don't know. I like it.
I like it.
Anyways.
The chicks dig it.
So he's swapping parts on and getting this motor ready to go back in the truck. The fuel system, I did not show you guys. Let me slide under the car, even though my race car is under it. So you can see we've got our return line coming back, and then our feed line, you can see, comes out right there. We've got underneath there is our check valve, we've got our fuel filter, and then it runs up into the Y, into the back of the fuel rails, and but pretty much, and we got the regulator mounted and so forth. So the fuel system is pretty much wrapped up. We've got 2 more lines to finish up, and then got a few other things to address on it. But I think on Monday we'll be installing a meth kit. That's why the charge pipe is zip tied up there, because I need to add a nozzle in. But we'll be installing a meth kit. John fixed a problem. The customer unknowingly broke, or maybe knowingly, either way, we're fixing it, broke the fitting on the back of the intake manifold when he was trying to remove the brake booster. So we got that repaired for him and the line put back on. So the intake manifold's back on, the fuel rails are on, the injectors are in. So we'll be able to keep moving forward and hopefully get this one wrapped up next week and on the dyno. Our Hellcat went ahead and got his move over banner installed, and then I am wrapping up the install on his Lighting Trends Flow Series headlights. So I've got to run the switch inside the car, but let me go ahead and click it real quick for you guys so you can check them out. Super cool looking, you know, 300-400 different patterns, designs, and so forth. I just put the red on because it looks mean. But wrapping up the install on that, and then we put the MFers on the exhaust. That's for the exhaust valves if you guys aren't familiar with it. And we have an exhaust leak on this thing we still need to address, but this one will leave next week as well too. All wrapped up. But that's gonna do it for this episode, guys. Appreciate you watching, sticking around with us. Hope you enjoyed the content. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you on the next video. Peace.